Today on DNVR Buffs Live, a Big 12 contender or former contender has lost their quarterback. Big recruiting news, more recruiting news coming up this week. We got a lot to talk about, so let's get to it.
Yes. Buff Nation.
Let's go.
Squad. Scotty, it is Monday. It's still June.
You wild for that, bro. The people forgot about that, bro. You had to bring it up out the game, bro.
I'll tell you. Welcome to the Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota Store. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. On Friday.
It'd be your own people, bro. It'd be your own homies, bro.
We're ending the show, and Scotty goes, "Next time we talk to y'all, it'll be June or July," because he thought it'd be the first. Well,
Joe did. You know, hey, sometimes we actually that was my plan, but you know, there was so much happened over the weekend. I'm like, I gotta be back. I gotta be back with the boys here today.
That's what it is.
So that's really what happened. You feel me? Glad to be back. But that's crazy, bro. Really be your own people, bro. It's like 2 of the last 4 shows, bro. You didn't try to throw me under the bus, bro. I'm not liking it, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Wow.
I love when people like snitch on you guys and they tag me.
Oh, what'd you learn now?
You haven't seen Any Given Sunday?
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. You seen that?
Of course.
Yeah, bro.
Several times.
I mean,
You're wild for that.
as I responded, it's not a Any Given Sunday thing. It's just a movie thing.
I just feel like as like a football guy, which you are.
Yes, exactly.
There's just certain films that you have to have had watched.
I
And that's top
don't know what
5.
to tell you. I've
Help
watched
your reference game, bro.
I've watched Friday Night Lights. I've watched Remember the Titans.
You're halfway
Longest
there.
Yard.
Longest Yard's not in the
Yeah, I
the
agree.
needs.
I agree.
That's a good
Any Given
football
Sunday,
movie.
Waterboy, important.
Of course, yes.
Did you get a chance to see our draft of fictional athletes?
No.
I cooked this man, bro.
Do we have it?
Do you still have it, Alyssa? Alyssa's lost and gone.
Do you have the draft board from Friday? If you do, I'll declare a winner.
Obviously, I took Willie Beeman #1 overall. Or not #1 overall, my first pick. He had the #1 overall pick. I'll let him tell you.
I just took the greatest fictional athlete of all time.
Airbud?
No. Hold on, Alyssa's gonna pull it up. Not Rudy. Rudy's not fictional, Benjamin.
Facts. That is
Fictional.
Also, Rudy doesn't make the board. He played one play.
I know, yeah. I mean, if I get one
Potential.
play out of him, I guess so.
Yeah.
My name is Willie. Willie Beeman.
There it is. Zoom in on that.
It's a little tough to see. Okay, here we go. Pablo Sanchez is wild.
How is that wild?
1-1 is crazy.
You could have got him last. I don't think Scotty would ever
Would
take
not
him.
have picked him.
He's the greatest athlete of all time. I took him where he deserved.
Bobby Boucher versus Rocky. Paul.
Yeah.
Who's Paul Crew again?
That's Adam Sandler in the Longest Yard. It's my quarterback.
I just really don't like that movie. Rod Tidwell. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Scotty cleaned up.
Yeah.
No Jesus Shuttlesworth?
Well, we were building a football team.
Oh, true.
Yeah, this is kind of with that all in mind.
But it's just fictional athletes draft. Calvin Cambridge.
Bro, he's too small, bro. He's got Pablo Sanchez and
Have you
Calvin
ever seen
Cambridge
him
out
jump?
there, bro. That
I
doesn't
thought you
take
said
away
you were building a football team.
Have you ever seen him jump?
He said nothing but straight goal line
He's
fades.
playing
Calvin
DB
Cambridge.
and wide receiver. And it's no fly zone and just constant touchdowns.
Man.
That's all it is.
I think you guys might have fumbled this. I think I could.
Who would you have added?
I think I could get a whole new team in here.
Nah, I don't know about that.
But I would-
Airbud was a common that people were saying that we should have added.
Airbud's unbelievable.
He just didn't fit our identity as a team.
Today on the show, We've got Big 12 projections from Phil Steele.
Oh, yeah.
We'll discuss. It's interesting. We have a mock draft for the 2026 NFL draft we'll talk about. That's also very interesting. Big week of recruiting coming. We'll talk Deacon Schmitt. Jehiem Oatis spoke to Pete Nakos and On3. That came out over the weekend. Media day stuff came out.
And he didn't talk crazy.
He did not talk crazy.
Like Nakos has been known to get people.
Some people think that he was talking crazy.
I know.
Most notably Alabama fans.
Of course.
Which is, come on.
And
We'll
he
get
said
into it.
the most normal transfer thing ever.
Yeah,
I
of
just wasn't a fit for me anymore.
The coach who I came with left.
Yes.
So I'm going to leave. Like, it's very common.
It's not like he said the new guy's ass.
You're right.
Well, and honestly, it's not even new information. A lot of what he talked about was already reported on.
For sure.
That we all already knew. But we start today with Jake Retzlaff in the BYU quarterback situation. A lot goes into this one. What was this, a month ago? Some allegations came out
I'd say so.
against Jake Retzlaff. I mean, that whole thing was crazy. And we brought up, the day that broke, we had Dion here, producer Dion, and we asked him, because he played for BYU, about the honor code and all that. And he said it was going to get messy. Sure enough, it gets messy. BYU was going to issue a 7-game suspension for Retzlaff. He decided, I'm a grad, see ya, and entered the portal
Peace out.
at the end of June, 2 months ahead of the season.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. It's obviously one of those tough situations to talk about on a podcast because we don't know the real story. Right. But what's definitely true is there's only one school that I know of where even if he was not guilty of a crime, he would still be guilty of an honor code violation, and that's BYU. And so it's one of the, he's like, okay, well, I feel confident that, I didn't do what I was accused of or whatever, that this case is going to be dropped, which weirdly enough today it is dropped.
Yes.
But I can transfer anywhere else and not be, punished the way that I would be at BYU. So it's a weird thing for a quarterback like this to be available in the portal and to be leaving a team this late. But I'm guessing BYU's probably had an idea that this was going to happen for a while.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy Big 12 news that impacts, all the contenders in the conference this season, because I think a lot of people, and rightfully so, look at BYU as a legitimate contender to win the Big 12, coming off of what they did last year, led by Jake Retzlaff at quarterback. With him no longer there, I don't really view them the same, as a contender. I will say that I don't envy Kalani Sitake having this all come out the week before Big 12 media days, where he's probably going to be asked ad nauseum about this and what it means.
It's like
for
Ollie Gordon this time last year.
Exactly, bro. And honestly, I think that this whole Retzlaff situation can have a similar impact to what Ollie Gordon's DUI situation was last year ahead of Big 12 media days, obviously in a completely different way. But having just a team leader like that go through something off the field, and in Retzlaff's case, him not even going to be on the team at a position like quarterback, I feel like that's something that can just completely derail a season for a team, especially two months or so before week 1. So it's pretty crazy. But I tell you, that week 5 matchup that Colorado is hosting BYU for, it'll be interesting to see who's under center for them, because I think their backups are a Utah State transfer who hasn't played much.
Do you know who that is?
McKay Hillestad or something like that?
Yeah, he's one of them.
And then they got the Stanford transfer, who's like a true freshman.
Bear Bachmeyer.
A
A younger brother of Hank Bachmeyer.
Bachmeyer.
Right.
Bachmeyer, who was at Boise State for a while. And then Trayson Bourget,
Wow.
the younger brother of Trenton. Yeah.
Okay. Here's my thoughts on this is, one, I'm not just counting BYU out because I think their coach is so good. And they've obviously done a great job of recruiting and developing across the roster. Jake Retzlaff was not the best player on the team or anything like that last year. And so there's actually an opportunity for them to upgrade at quarterback. Now, I don't know if they're prepared to do that. What I will say is that Retzlaff was huge for them in the biggest moments.
He's clutch.
And there's no guarantee that whoever they have to fill in, even if the person that steps up for him is puts up better numbers, because his numbers were not impressive.
Yeah.
are they going to be the one to, run for that first down on 3rd and 6 in a big game, or make that clutch throw like he did against Oklahoma State to give them the win? Like, he had the clutch gene, even though his numbers weren't impressive. So that's where I think they're going to lose a lot. And he was also a big-time leader of that team.
Exactly.
Which they're going to lose a lot in that regard. So I still think BYU is going to be a good football team this year.
So do I.
Because I believe in Kalani Sitake. But it's going to be really tough for them to replace their quarterback, their leader of their offense especially, and the guy who kind of made the big plays for them at big times. To me, it's like they went from contender in tier 1 to probably contender in tier 2.
Yep.
I would just say too, like, I agree with you. Like, this isn't a big deal because Jake Retzlaff is some like demon, like some really good elite
Heisman
college
candidate,
football quarterback. He's not that, but like you mentioned, RK, he is clutch. He obviously led them to one of their better seasons in some recent history last year. And I think the biggest reason this is a big hit for them is just the belief factor. When you have a quarterback under center that everybody believes in, that you have proof of concept can lead the guys to success, I think that is kind of deflating for a team when you don't have that. I think we saw it a little bit with Utah last year. Like, that was still a solid team around whoever was at quarterback. Like, that shouldn't have been a 3-4 win team. But I think when you see your quarterback, who you have been battling with the last couple of years, all off season leading up to the season, no longer in the fold, it's kind of just deflating. So I think that's something that could happen with BYU here. And, talking about contender, I don't know how y'all feel about this, but I kind of look at this point, the Big 12 this season, as a 4-team race in terms of true contenders. Arizona State, obviously, Kansas State, Utah, who I just mentioned, and Colorado. I think it's a 4-team race. That's how I look at it right now.
I mean, many people would add another 2 or 3 teams.
I'm sure they would.
Shows how deep this conference is.
Iowa State.
Some people might say Baylor.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, I truly don't know what to actually make of it from a football sense at this point. McKay Hill did play at Utah State. He was getting all the second-team reps, it sounds like, this spring, with Bourget getting the third-team reps. So, I mean, we'll see what they do if they open it up, if they use the non-conference as kind of an extension of training camp and, get some reps in, just see who fits in best. But McKay Hillstad last year, or 2 years ago was the last time he played for Utah State, played in 8 games, 59% completion, just over 1,000 passing yards, 11 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. That's honestly sounds pretty close to what Retzlaff was giving them anyways. So, but it is different, obviously, coming up from Utah State to the Big 12 and just playing with, I mean, this is a football team with a bunch of grown men on it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because of the way BYU operates, there's a lot of older guys. Like, if you're going to go in and command that team, command that huddle, you got to kind of be like that, even if, there are better quarterbacks skill-wise in the country.
For sure. And BYU's first Big 12 game of the season is Colorado, so they're not going to really, I think, be able to really warm up with Big 12 competition before that Saturday night matchup here in Boulder.
Very interesting.
I have a question, too, for y'all.
Go ahead.
With this.
Oh, I have a question, too.
I spent some time this weekend filling out my preseason all Big 12 kind of ballot for offense and defense, position by position. You only get one spot for quarterback, obviously. And last year, obviously, I picked Shedeur Sanders, which was 100% right. And I'm going back and forth between 2 guys in my mind for that spot right now. Okay. Who would y'all give the nod to?
So it's preseason
Big 12 all conference at quarterback.
I have to give it to Sawyer, I think. Sawyer or Dampierre.
Whoever starts for Colorado.
But I feel like you can't see. I would want to kind of. I thought about giving Caden the nod, but it's I think Juju's gonna. He's not gonna redshirt this year. I think Juju's gonna play a lot, and I think that's gonna hinder Salter's potential production and how people view him. So, I'm Sawyer would be.
Yeah, I think I'll go Sawyer.
Yeah, I think so.
You obviously are thinking Sam Levitt is an option, right?
I'm not.
Okay.
He's thinking Avery Johnson.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I'm not. But I'm between 2 guys. We'll talk about it later this week. I was just curious.
Wait, what? You can't not pay that off?
A multi-day tease? We got to wait days?
I'm between 2 people. The two people I'm between right now are Sawyer Robertson and Josh Hoover.
Oh.
Wow. Those are the 2 quarterbacks I'm between right now.
I like Hoover.
So do I. And I feel like the biggest reason I'm on, and I'll say I'm probably 75-25 leaning Hoover right now. And I think the biggest reason is I think he has the best chance to throw for 35 plus 100 yards, 30 plus touchdowns in the conference. I think TCU is going to win 9, maybe 10 games, and I think he's going to be the biggest reason why.
The people that vote on this don't actually watch the games, not you specifically, but if they see a guy throw for 4,500 yards and 35 touchdowns,
precisely,
like they're gonna just.
I just
pick
think
him.
he's going to have the biggest kind of counting numbers, at the end of the season. So
they got a solid, big game to start the season too, right? They have UNC. Is that them?
Potentially, yeah. Their schedule is low-key brutal.
There's also Missouri, Kansas early in the season.
Week 1.
Oh, it's back.
I think it's week 1. Yeah.
Wow, that's exciting. All right, still a lot to get to. Let's take our first break. Shout out the homies over at Cake Mortgage. There's a lot of folks out there who work unconventional jobs, I guess you would say, right? You're either freelancing, you own your own business, contractor, or maybe you're just a creative professional. And if that fits you, then you've probably experienced the difficulties in trying to get a loan to get a home. That's where our friends in Cake come in. Cake can get business owners approved by validating your cash flow through bank statements, certified profit and loss statements, or business tax returns. With being a business owner, it can get all kinds of, messy, dealing with money, claiming all that money and stuff, especially when it comes to, important things like getting a loan and all that. Hit up our friends over at Cake, and they'll make, getting you a loan a piece of cake. Head to the link in the description to get started. Cake Mortgage Corp. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 1734623, licensed in Colorado by the Division of Real Estate. Terms and conditions apply.
Also, shout out to our friends over at Empire Today. Oftentimes in sports, the best teammates, best players are guys who know their role. Empire Today knows their role. They know that they are the specialists when it comes to flooring, and they don't need to pretend that they are doing anything else. They don't need to pretend that they're doing roofing or siding or any of the other sides of a home. You got the bottom, the top, the side. They got covered them all. They know that they are the best when it comes to flooring, and they lean into that heavily. And when you're thinking about when you're going to get a floor, why wouldn't you go to the specialists? Why wouldn't you go to the experts? The ones who just know one thing and they know it the best you possibly can. That's Empire Today when it comes to flooring, and you can get $350 off when you use promo code DNVR. That's $350 off your brand new floor from our friends over at Empire Today when you go to empiretoday.com/DNVR for full details and use that code DNVR.
One more thing. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I have a question now.
Oh, yeah.
And again, these are always like difficult topics to discuss. But I'm just curious. Not everyone that goes to BYU is a Mormon. Not everyone that works for the team is a Mormon. And I have to imagine that behind some closed doors, when conversations are happening with recruits, this stuff comes up.
Yeah.
And I have to imagine that there's one coach who probably says, like, it's not that serious. Like, just you got to be smart.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And we were all 18-year-old kids once.
Yeah.
Does this hurt recruiting for BYU?
No, not at all. They have so much money.
Okay.
I'm not going to say no as confidently as Jake just did. I think it potentially could.
I think anytime there's one of these high-profile stories, it's not great for them.
Can be.
And this happened with, oh, God, what was his name? I want to say it was like Brandon Jones or something. He was on the basketball team.
I saw some people talking about that on Twitter today. I think that is the right name.
And he got suspended right before the NCAA tournament for a violation of the honor code. And I just think that there's probably, like, you go far enough away from a situation like that and the kids can just think like, oh, yeah, there's a lot of things that I do that are against the rules and I get away with.
Yeah.
And again, putting the actual allegation aside, if there's a chance that you could be suspended from the team for doing things that a lot of 18-year-old football players want to do, I just think I don't think it can help. That's for sure.
I just think it's a very strong reminder of what BYU is. Honestly, like that's been pretty upfront that BYU is a private religious school. Like you got to kind of have to follow the rules if you're going to be there. It's just this, I think, situation maybe put a spotlight on, maybe if you are not Mormon and you're considering BYU, you should just be aware of this.
I agree. But like Ryder Lyons is Mormon.
Yes, he's going on his mission. Yeah.
So like that plays a role. Like they're used to living under those circumstances and
Exactly,
like following a certain way of life. I just think it's different for the players who are recruited there that aren't.
Yep.
I think all the Mormon money coming in could have potentially bumped them up into a new class of recruiting. But I think this type
Kind of
of
already
thing
has.
I think this type of thing might keep them where they have been or prevent them from really reaching the next level of being looked at as kind of the top dogs in that kind of space.
I mean, shoot, if money was everything in the sport, BYU and Oregon and Missouri would be, top teams in the country.
Yep.
It's just not how it works.
One last thing on
completely.
Retzlaff. It was reported yesterday from Jay Drew at the Deseret out there in Utah that Retzlaff already has the destination school mostly lined up and could announce as soon as Wednesday.
I'm sure the last month he was figuring some stuff out.
Since it's a big-time school, any thoughts?
Yeah, I want predictions.
You got one?
No. Actually, I do have one.
Okay.
It's a school that has a high-profile young quarterback.
Yeah, just to add,
That might not be ready.
they're saying that, it's a school that has like a need for like a veteran QB.
I think it could be Michigan.
No, it won't be Michigan.
Crazy.
I was going to say Ohio State.
Who's Ohio State's quarterback?
They got one of Sayan, right?
Yep.
And then
Julian.
I was going to say Notre Dame or Tennessee.
Notre Dame's another one too.
They're saying it's a big-time school, so, it's
Just
got to
talking
be
football.
a short list.
Retzlaff plays just like Riley Leonard played.
That's,
You know
I
what
can
I
see
mean?
that. I can see that.
Fair
I
enough.
just feel like Ohio State, I don't know. I feel like they low-key have too high of a standard. Like Retzlaff, I don't know. In my mind, Retzlaff low-key not good enough to play at Ohio State.
They just took Will Howard, bro.
Will Howard was like really good at Kansas State.
He was okay. They replaced him.
Better than Retzlaff, though.
They literally
Yeah,
replaced him
I
with his
think-
boy, though.
You're right. And obviously you know how I feel about Avery Johnson.
Yeah.
Like that thing makes sense to me. I think Howard was good and they replaced him with a better quarterback.
I thought your top two quarterbacks were going to be Avery Johnson and Eric Dampier. Eric? No, not
Devin.
Eric. Devin Dampier. Eric Dampier was the basketball player.
Yeah, I mean, those are probably my two favorite
Yeah.
non-Colorado quarterbacks. But yeah,
West Virginia, they have nothing,
yeah, it'd be interesting.
It would
We'll see where that boy ends up.
be interesting if he stayed.
We'll find out. It sounds like we'll find out in the next 48 hours. So
We'll talk about it.
yeah.
Big 12 Media Day stuff is out.
It's going to be an interesting PR situation for that.
Oh
school.
yeah.
The Buffs will have 5 representatives in Dallas next week. 2 quarterbacks. Only team bringing out 2 quarterbacks. So both Juju and Caden will be out there. Jordan Seaton, DJ McKinney, and Alejandro Mata will also be representing CU at the Media Days next week. We are day 2. That is Wednesday. And I think some of these will be broadcasted on ESPNU. Yep, full day from 10:30 to 3 p.m. Central Time.
Yep.
What do you read into both quarterbacks going?
That means that they haven't been lying when they said it's been neck and neck this entire time, honestly.
Scott?
That Julian Lewis is the future of the Colorado football program, and you want to get him as many opportunities in front of the media and to show that he is a leader and the face of this program is possible and as early as possible. No time, I feel like, no reason to wait around. If you know you got your guy of the future the next 3 to 4 years. Give him as many opportunities like this as you can. I think it's smart.
I took a slightly different interpretation of it, and obviously this fits a narrative that I've been pushing. Not pushing, but believing in. And so I went with this one. I think it means that they expect both players to be a big part of the team.
Yeah.
And that's a little different than like, oh, it's a close competition. I think it's like we expect both of these guys to be very involved in what we're doing this year, so both of them deserve a chance to go to Media Day, rather than like we haven't picked which one's our guy yet, so we're gonna send both.
Yeah.
I think it's a slightly different interpretation, but something I've been saying every time people ask us about it is like, I think both guys are gonna play quite a bit.
I think also too, and I just literally just thought about this. I think it's smart too because I think it helps take pressure off the other one. Like if it was just Caden going, he was gonna get a ton of questions about Julian. If it was just Julian, he
They're
would have
still
got
gonna
a
get that.
ton of questions. Yeah, for sure. But I think them both kind of being there, and I think maybe even sometimes maybe being up there on the podium together, like maybe they were sometimes this spring, I think could just maybe help alleviate some of the pressure that might be on in those situations.
If you guys think I'm pushing the narrative that both guys are going to play, that's fine too.
I mean,
Little Freudian
we hate
slip
Julian
there.
and we hate Caden on this show apparently either, so it doesn't matter what we say.
Oh man. Somebody mentioned I would have liked to see Arden there. I don't know if there was like a limit there, but I think Arden, would have deserved to have been there. I think he would have been a great representative. But either way, he's in for a pretty big season.
Yep. So, about a week away.
We'll be out there. Some really interesting guys to hear from. Devin Dampier is going to be there, which I think is notable.
Sawyer Robertson is going to be there too.
I think that's less notable. Dampier's a new quarterback, right?
Yeah?
I guess, Kate
No,
was-
Isaac Wilson.
No, I don't think so.
Is he still at Utah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He withdrew from the portal.
He'll be competing.
Wait, BYU needs a quarterback.
Nah, bro. He already picked his side in the Salt Lake.
Fags.
I don't know.
It's got to be crazy, though. Like, it would be so disheartening to know that your favorite team, their quarterback isn't going.
So that is UCF. That is
BYU.
Houston. That is BYU. That is Oklahoma State. That is West Virginia.
Yeah, I've been there, bro. It's a bad place.
That's why I bring up all the time. The best thing I think Coach Brown has done is alleviate any worry about the quarterback position since he's been at Colorado. Because, damn, that's a tough place to be.
When in the Pac-12, you used to only get to send two,
Really?
if I remember correctly.
Shador and Travis, the last one.
Yep. And like the years before that, it was nary a quarterback.
Why didn't Houston send Connor Wegman? That's interesting.
Because
That's
Deion
Deion.
Chris is going to hold on to his job, bro. What do you mean?
Is he around here? I thought I saw him for a minute.
I didn't think I saw him today. Jehiem Oatis spoke to Pete Nakos at On 3 about his decision to leave Alabama and transfer to Colorado, what he wants to prove this season. He said, I left Alabama because I came in with Coach Saban. I took it to heart. That was one of my biggest dreams, to play in college football for Coach Saban and win a ring. When I heard he was leaving, nobody saw it coming. Last year, when I was there, they were literally messing me over and weren't giving me playing time. That was a big part of why I left. The new staff wasn't for me, and once I found out that they didn't mess with me, I knew it was time to get up and get out of there. He also had 3 surgeries about a year ago this time, which is why he kind of fell down the depth chart as well. So he was recovering, and we've talked about this stuff, but he was recovering from shoulder, knee, and ankle surgery
Right.
all at the same time. He was losing weight. The report is, someone had it recently that it might have been Pete Nakos actually, that he's actually lost more weight now that he's at Colorado. And he's already ginormous.
Right.
He also said on committing to Colorado, which, by the way, Pete Nakos adds in, he committed to the Buffaloes in mid-December, picking Colorado over a host of SEC schools and leaving upwards of $500,000 on the table.
That's a $500,000.
He says, got a great defensive line coach in Coach Sapp, great D-line coach with Coach Pecco. I came out here because of them, the great coaches, and I wanted to play for Coach Deion. Seeing our coaches, what they did in the league and the legacy they left there, like Coach Pecco playing 15 years at nose tackle, that explains it all right there. On his health, he said, I'm fully healthy. After I got here, it took me 2 months to get back right. Colorado has been great. Our strength coach, Coach Swayze, comes from Miami. He's a great coach. He's worked with Ed Reed and Ray Lewis. What he has us doing has me moving and looking good. Getting back in the weight room, that's something that I'm good at. It's been really good. The coaches are taking it seriously. I've actually dropped. I'm 315 right now.
Sheesh.
Said Coach Sapp speaks my language. He pushes me every day. That's my dog. He's on me every day like white on rice. I'm thankful that he's on me like that because it just makes me push harder. On the season,
I
he
feel
said,
like he got that phrase from Coach Sapp.
probably,
Yeah,
probably. On this season, he said, it's big. The season means a lot. I've got a lot to prove to people this year. I didn't get a chance last year to prove myself. So this year, for sure, the work ethic is going to be there. I've got to prove to the country that there aren't no more injuries. There's no more, he's missing this, he's missing that. I've got something to prove to everybody. I feel like I can dominate the line of scrimmage when I'm healthy. I've got to make plays every game. I've got to make some big plays to show coaches and the scouts that I can play at the next level. That's everything he said.
It's fire.
Why are Bama fans so upset about this?
Because they're not used to losing anything.
It was so weird. He's basically just like, yeah, the new staff, I didn't really mess with the new staff. They didn't really mess with me. This is the most common transfer story.
Yep.
It's crazy. I love to hear that, though. That boy sounds really, really motivated. And I think maybe the best thing we can hear out of that is that he feels completely healthy.
Yeah.
100% healthy after the surgeries and all the injuries he had to deal with. And I think that might explain why we didn't see a ton of him on the field this spring, as he was still kind of working his way back. He said it took him like 2 months to kind of feel like himself. Obviously talking about the impact of Swayze, who everybody's been raving about, that we've been seeing the impact of already. So it's, I think, another piece of evidence of why us on this show have been so high on Jehiem Oatis and high on his potential here in 2025.
Yep. He's a game wrecker. Go turn on the tape from Alabama. He is just physically imposing.
Him saying he weighs 300, he lost weight to get to 315. And then I just think about that picture of him standing next to Carday Smith.
Yep.
My mind is blown.
And this is a dude that entered Alabama as a true freshman, played right away. He was like
Played as a true
375 though, bro. He was massive. So he's really leaning out. I mean, 315, like, I don't know how much nose tackle he's going to be playing, honestly. He is one of the taller, bigger, most imposing guys on that defensive line. But I mean, you've got Anquin Barnes there. You got Amari McNeil who played well in that position. Like, you got some guys.
Big Quinn and Jehiem Oatis next to each other.
I know.
Scary.
Problems. Let's take our next break. Shout out to the homies over at Toyota. No better vehicle when it comes to reliability, versatility, comfort, all those words, man. They got it all. Trucks are in Toyota's DNA, so you can go check out the new 2024 Tacoma and the return of the iconic 2024 Land Cruiser. The Land Cruiser, where we see that one at the Super Bowl, that one looks sweet. Toyota's just, they're hitting their prime right now. Sports cars, all that good stuff. Hybrids. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial. Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota's a proud partner of CU Athletics and the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places.
Shout out to the squad, our good friends over at Raising Cane's. We are all busy people, so whether you're coming home from work, maybe even taking a summer road trip, or just in between running errands, order at RaisingCanes.com or on the Cane's mobile app to satisfy your chicken finger fix in a snap. At Raising Cane's, all the chicken fingers are hand battered and cooked to order. Every single crinkle cut fries crispy and perfectly salted. Every Texas toast is buttered to perfection, and every cane sauce is made in-house, in restaurant, each and every day, just ready to be dipped. If you're hungry, get your order today at Cane's and keep the road trip going all summer. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love. Shout out to Cane's.
One love indeed. All right. Still quite a lot. Let's talk recruiting.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Let's talk Deacon Schmitt, actually. So he obviously picks Oklahoma over Colorado. My stance doesn't really change here, honestly. Their goals are all in front of them. Go out there, prove you can run the ball, prove you can win.
Yeah.
These type of guys will just start lining up to come play for you.
Yeah, well said, bro. Look, you don't have anything to add to that.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
You know what rhymes with Deacon Schmitt?
Decommit.
Hey, that's hilarious.
Only a matter of time. Only a matter of time. Nah, but good luck to him.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I do think that the fan base should be careful about crashing out on
Yes.
18-year-old kids.
Again.
Especially because Deacon Schmitt rhymes with decommit. Just saying.
We are just 6-6 Oklahoma season and 9-3 Colorado season away from the word that rhymes with Deacon Schmitt. Quite literally. So let's just be patient.
I mean,
y'all.
that'd be 2 consecutive years around those records for both those
Well,
programs.
and Venables would get fired.
Probably.
Correct.
Probably.
And nobody's gonna be running to play for Oklahoma with a fired coach. So,
Who was going to want to go coach that team if that happens, too?
yeah.
I don't know.
Should have stayed in the Big 12.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't remember exactly. They've been in the SEC for 2 years now.
Last year was the first year, I believe.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's obviously Texas went in and proved they could compete in that conference right away.
Yeah.
Oklahoma did not.
Nope. Not even close.
Still,
They had some moments, but
still a lot of targets out there. Still even some in-state targets out there. Still on the radar.
Coming up tomorrow, we've got Trip Skews. His commitment, Sedarian, of course, on Wednesday. I mean, can't downplay that one at all. That's a 5-star potential, QB wide receiver connection / duo that you'd form for the future with Julian.
Could be a class-defining commit right there on Wednesday with Sedarian Morgan.
Potentially the domino, some would say.
Potentially.
That would be a sick nickname.
And then
Low-key.
Manoa Falpusa will commit on Saturday as well. And again, that's just the start of it too. Like there's a lot more coming up.
Also tomorrow, along with Trip Skews, who's announcing his commitment between Texas Tech, North Carolina, and Vanderbilt. Also, Kobe Johnson, a linebacker, 3-star linebacker out of the state of Washington, is announcing his commitment tomorrow. He's recently taken visits to San Diego State, a couple other places. So I would expect one Buff commitment tomorrow, maybe even 2.
Nice.
Well, Joseph Pecco put Colorado and UNC in his top 2.
Sure did. Lock it in.
And I'll just say this. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. If there's a great player in the state of Colorado, we want him. But you don't get any extra credit, or there's no bonus, or there's no guarantee that a player is going to be better based on where they come from.
Right.
And so the staff's job is just to build the best recruiting class they possibly can. Whether that includes Colorado players or not, is kind of irrelevant. Again, I think that naturally, as Colorado continues to win, the players who are from here are going to want to stay here. But that, again, you have to make sure you land, you hit on those guys.
Right.
And like all of recruiting, it's about evaluating and making sure you're getting a guy who's actually going to develop. So, in-state, out-of-state, just get good players. The rest will take care of itself.
Also, full context, you just finished either second or third for the #1 recruit in your home state. Like that's clear progress from where you were. Like Blake Purchase did not consider Colorado a couple years ago. Gage Ginther, I think, maybe flirted a little bit with Colorado. It wasn't anything serious, though.
Yeah.
This was down to the wire, pretty much.
Yeah.
And speaking of in-state Colorado guys, good football players, Trip Skews, who we just mentioned, is from right here in Denver at Kent.
T.I.
And T.I., who this weekend as well just dropped his top 5. Colorado, UCLA, North Carolina, Washington, and Oklahoma. That's his top 5. We talked about him. T.I., according to 24/7 Sports, the #1 ranked recruit in Colorado.
I was going to say, if I had to pick one or the other, I would want T.I.
Yeah.
Happily take both.
And according to 24/7 Sports, T.I. is one of the best interior defensive linemen in the entire country. And you can just tell by his offer list there. Again, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Washington, who has a great Polynesian kind of history in their football program as well.
Same with UCLA.
So that'll be interesting. Again, you might end up with the top player in the state. Or 2 of the top players in the state. 3 potentially. Again, with Trip Skews also in that mix as well. So just be patient, y'all.
Also, while we're on this subject, I wasn't actually on the show that day. But I saw a little bit of you guys taking heat on social media for having Deacon on the show. And I just again, why wouldn't we want to have a player on who's from Colorado who's interested in the Buffs?
Yep.
Or not from Colorado who's interested in the Buffs? I thought it was a great interview. It was a cool insight, but people, I guess, then said, "Oh, if he went on DNVR, then he's definitely a Buff lock." And
that's not how it works.
Yeah,
that's not how it works.
We had him on to talk about his visit, and he was great. Shout out Deacon for coming on the show, and me and him talked a little bit this weekend as well. So it's always love, and we'll be seeing him soon. Good luck to that boy.
Again, he does their best recruiting in season when there are games, and you have an extra home game this year.
Let's go.
Stay tuned. Speaking about Sedarian real quick, we'll talk about him a lot more Tuesday and Wednesday, obviously. But
one more thing, just quickly about Sedarian, because this happened right after our show on Friday. The picture
Oh yes.
with Preston Ashley that
so
he
yeah,
posted.
what is that? OT7.
Yeah, OT7 this past weekend. Yeah.
And by the way, with that, Preston Ashley was out there balling, according to a ton of people.
Dude.
Facts.
People have been talking about Preston Ashley since he committed.
And so yeah, he pulls up, he does the little buff thing,
Yeah.
and takes a picture with Sidarian at the OT7.
Yeah.
Sick.
Did he even what? He just put the eyeball emoji or something, right?
No.
Like,
Yeah, just with that. He
He
goes,
said presto.
yeah, Presto Money. He goes, eyeball emoji, Presto Money, and Sidarian.
Yep.
At DNVR Buffs. Shout out to Preston Ashley. He knows
That's
what's
my guy,
up.
bro. Hell yeah.
The
And then,
tag.
facts. And then, of course, Juju right underneath that tweet talking about slide.
Instant retweet for me, by the way, for tagging DNVR Buffs.
Yep.
Swear.
Totally.
Hell yeah.
Also, I love the nickname Presto Money.
Presto Money's fire.
So we talked about what Sidarian said last week when he was asked about his top 5 finalists by Tom Loy at 247. At the end of that video, though, just on his decision overall, he says, I'm not going to say I'm struggling, but I haven't made up my mind all the way. It's going to be a very tough decision for me because all the schools have the sparkles and good people. It's going to take me sitting down with my family and just talking about the good and the bad of each school and where I fit best.
I think that's really good that at least at the time of that interview, he wasn't sure where he's going. If we're taking him at his word,
Yeah.
because I think it'd be really easy to just be like, the easy answer is just go to Alabama. You're
Or
from
Auburn,
Alabama,
yeah.
or Auburn. Go to your in-state school. They've been recruiting him obviously hard. They brought out Nick Saban
Yeah.
for a visit for
Yeah.
that boy like last week or two. So that would be the easy answer. And I think because he's still unsure, gives me some optimism.
You guys just reminded me of an experience I had this weekend where I felt someone passively, aggressively, and maybe accidentally accused me of not knowing ball. I was introduced to this guy who was like one of Allie's friends' boyfriends.
Okay.
And I don't know how he got to talking about college. Oh, because he was from Boulder. I was like, oh, where'd you go to school? And he goes, Auburn in Alabama. And I was like,
What?
you think I don't know that?
Hell no.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was. I felt disrespected.
Yeah,
That
you go,
is-
the Tigers, blue and orange. Jordan Hare, Cam Newton.
Cam Newton, if you ever heard of him, he used to play there.
But I think what it actually was is he didn't know ball. So he didn't care about football. That's why he thought I might not know that.
Did you check him? Were you like, yeah, bro, I
Yeah,
know.
I was like, oh yeah, I know.
Do you think like regular people struggle with that? Like they hear Baylor and they go,
Where's that?
"What is that?
Yeah,
Baylor?
I think they do actually.
Insane. Cannot relate."
Low-key, that's like, for the real ball knowers, that's like one of the coolest pastimes you can do.
Just name
Just to name a school, where's it from? Or
Yeah.
like name
Or-
a player, like where they go
or
to school.
college.
Like,
Yeah.
that's the
Or
dopest
name
thing.
a school. What's their mascot?
Yeah, facts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Phil Steele put out Big 12 projections for the season. How do we want to do this? Bottom to top or top to bottom?
Is this like
Either way.
team
Team projections. Who he
Okay.
thinks is going to win the conference and where he thinks
I got some
teams are going to finish.
I got some position unit rankings as well from our guy Phil Steele that we can get
Okay.
to after that. But sure, let's go from the bottom because I'm sure
From the
he
bottom?
has them at near the bottom.
All right, starting in 16th, the team he voted to finish last, West Virginia. Rich Rod coming back, one of 4 or 5 teams who's not bringing a quarterback to media days, 30 plus guys in the portal. Like, I'm just saying the signs. Like,
Yeah, bro, they're gonna be bottom 5 for sure.
also just kind of setting the
the
stage
conference.
too. Just hang on with me, play along a little bit,
Okay.
if you will. Number 15, Arizona. They do have a quarterback coming to media day. That might be
Yeah.
all about that team has, honestly.
Yeah.
They did get Oscar Rios.
They did get Oscar
did.
Rios, but they are facing a potential program meltdown / redo this upcoming season.
I mean, if they crash and burn again this year, they're gonna have to find some money to fire Brett Brennan.
Yes. Number 14 is Oklahoma State. Not bringing a quarterback to media day. A lot of portal activity from them as well. A lot of coaching staff makeovers too. Oklahoma State, but Mike Gundy, that was his worst season in literally 20 years. But they got him 14. Number 13, Colorado. 13th.
It's fine. It's fine. More opportunities for us to profit off of this type
Bro,
of shit.
why haven't you said UCF? Yeah, Jake.
I don't know. They're ranked ahead of Colorado. He's on 12th. Again, what does UCF? All like everything's serious. Like What does UCF have? What do they have?
What can you point to
Yeah.
in terms of optimism that's going to win them games this year?
I have no idea.
And this is, like I said, I spent some time this weekend kind of putting together my preseason all Big 12 teams. There's only 3 teams in the conference that I had no players from the team. Arizona, UCF, and Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
And I think those would be the 3 worst teams in the conference this year. But it's like, yeah, I mean, echoing that point, what are we saying about UCF right now?
Are we going to do this every year?
At this point, it's just becoming routine. Yeah.
We are back, brothers.
Yeah. This is just it. This is our
We are
lives.
back.
That's crazy. I could honestly live with as low as 8.
Totally.
You know, if you're really low on Colorado, you're like, I just don't think it's going to come together for them this year. I'll put them in the middle of the conference. 13 is, you're saying they're one of the worst teams in the conference. I don't understand how you could come to that conclusion.
We all know what it is. People look at Travis Shador going to the NFL, and then they obviously don't look at what Colorado had going for them last year in terms of defensive line, the sacks, and all that, and where they got better. They just, again, no one's paying attention to this team.
And in his little blurb in his magazine, Phil Steele, his last sentence about Colorado, he goes, "This year they lose their superstars, but have better depth. Most key indicators, though, are pointing down."
Okay.
You just got to see. And honestly, we haven't talked about this on the show, but this is part of the reason why the Big 12, I think, did away with the preseason poll in terms of, ranking them 1 to 16 by the media.
Why do they care?
They clearly do. I don't know why, though.
Let's make it straight. It was the head coaches and the ADs who decided to get
Which
away
is
with
weird.
this.
They said the media embarrassed us last year. That's legitimately what they said.
No one else would have predicted Arizona State to win ahead of the season last year, except maybe Kenny Dillingham.
Right, but I think so. Here's what I actually think. I think that the preseason media poll created a narrative of what the season should look like. And when it looked the opposite of that, it made it look like the Big 12 was weaker.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because if Oklahoma State had the exact same resume as BYU last year, they would have been in the college football playoff.
Probably.
But because it was like, the good teams in that Big 12 aren't even good, and all
a good
these
point, bro.
teams from the bottom are rising up, it created a narrative that made it look like the conference was weaker when really it was just the media was wrong.
That's fair.
And that makes sense to me why the coaches and ADs would be against it, because it could hurt you come playoff time.
Yes.
That narrative, right? If preseason the worst team wins the conference,
Yeah.
a lot of people are going to think, that conference sucks.
They were ass. Exactly.
So,
But it's not
that
going to
makes sense.
stop like Phil Steele making this. On three's probably going to do it. 247's going to have a bit like
DNVR is probably going to do it.
ESPN's going to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
But it just looks, it was on every single broadcast, every single ESPN.
Sure. Right.
Here's what it was in the media poll, and here's what it is now. So it just became so public.
yeah,
It's true.
I don't know. Just get rid of all preseason rankings at this point, honestly. I mean, straight up. We'd probably end up with a better product, better rankings when it actually matters.
I agree. But we got to make content.
Of course. But Big 12 is, they don't want us to talk about a media poll anymore.
Yep.
Going back to Phil Steele, 11 is Houston, 10 is Kansas, 9 is Cincy, 8 is BYU.
Bro, Houston, bro? I mean, I understand that having them at 13 means all those other teams are ahead of them, but
Just
what are we doing?
when you hear it out loud?
Yes, like what are we doing?
8 is BYU, 7 is TCU, 6 is Tech, 5 is Kansas State, 4 is ASU, 3 is Iowa State, 2 is Utah. Number 1, he has Baylor.
Okay.
He's really big on Sawyer Robertson this year too. He has him as his first team quarterback preseason.
I mean, Sawyer
he's-
Robertson as much as the next guy.
Yeah, he's cool. He's
Utah, too, is crazier to me.
Where do you have BYU?
8.
Like 8th.
I don't. This obviously came out. I mean, the magazine's out, I think, as well.
Right.
So I don't think he factored in Retzlaff or the situation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he had in his quarterback unit rankings for the Big 12, he had BYU tied with Colorado, 13th quarterbacks in the Big 12.
Man.
Some of these other ones are crazy.
Man.
We just live in the upside down, bro.
I swear.
Just whatever truth we know is not truth to anyone else. It's insane.
He ranked the running back room dead last, which, whatever.
Sure.
Receivers is tied for third.
Okay.
O-line is tied for 10th.
Okay.
D-line is tied for...
First.
You know damn well, bro. D-line is tied for 3rd or 4th.
It's not terrible.
Yeah, LB is 13th, DB 7th. Special teams, top 3. Top 3 special teams, apparently.
Let's go, new mate.
It's crazy, though.
Last thing I have.
I feel like all of that shook out to not a 13th place team.
I know, right?
Whatever. We'll see.
Matt Miller of ESPN did a too early 2026 NFL mock draft. Guess what team he has picking first overall? Selecting a quarterback.
The Browns.
The Cleveland Browns.
Who is this?
Matt Miller.
Who
Cade
does he have them
Klubnik.
taking?
Clemson quarterback.
I'm assuming that's not the Jags pick, though, right? Because
I can
that
find
that could potentially be the Jags pick that they traded up for.
He has Cleveland also picking at 12. So
I'll tell you this. If the Browns don't figure it out and start Shedeur Sanders, they will be picking number 1 overall.
True. But do you think they're already on to like 2026 quarterback? Do you think they're like in the building? They're having those discussions already.
I'm just not buying that, bro. I don't think you draft 2 quarterbacks and trade for a third in the same offseason to draft another one.
Unless you're the Browns.
I mean, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's always going to be a valid retort, but I don't buy that right now, especially with that name being Cade Klubnik. I'm not buying that.
I'm going to stop all my Cade Klubnik hate, actually, because he's been compared to Bo Nix, my Lord and Savior.
By who?
I think Jordan Reed was one of them.
I can see that comp.
I mean, he's pretty athletic. I think way more athletic than a lot of people give him credit for.
I think pretty accurate as well.
Yeah. So.
But he's not going to be playing with Sean Payton as his coach.
Nope. But, yeah. No DJ McKinney in this mock draft either. Jordan Tyson ends up going 8th to the Patriots.
Whoa. That's way too high.
I think he's going to be a dog this year.
I'm
Definitely.
excited to see.
Definitely my one of my picks for preseason, all Big 12. You get 3 receiver slots. He's definitely at one of them.
He has the Chicago Bears getting Jeremiah Love.
That'd be scary.
The
That's the best
Broncos-
running back in college football, ain't he? Pretty
He's
much.
yeah,
Just
coming
about.
into the season, yeah.
Yeah.
The
But
Broncos
you didn't want Ashton Jeanty.
I know.
Who?
The Broncos get Eli Stowers, tight end out of Vanderbilt.
No.
I mean, this is what happens every year. We just get mock tight ends, bro.
Seriously.
It's crazy.
I always said no.
It used to be cornerbacks before they got Pat. Now it's just tight ends.
We got Evan Ingram and Caleb Lohner, dude.
Have y'all drafted a cornerback pretty high, like 3 years in a row? Is that right?
No.
No?
Bo is
Corner?
the first, or corner or quarter?
Corner.
We kind of always pick a corner in the first 3
Well,
rounds.
Was Riley 2nd or 3rd round?
Yeah, George
Third, I
Payton
think.
comes from the Rick Spielman Minnesota Vikings school of taking cornerbacks very
and
high.
edge.
And edge, yeah. Big RAS guy, RAS.
Valid.
That's all I got for today.
Talk to the people in the Toyota chat.
Chatsky.
What's up, Kenneth? See you have the toughest opponent
Week
week
1
in the conference. I can pull that up here if you give me a minute.
Like I said, I think Kansas has Mizzou. I don't know what Mizzou's predicted to be like this year.
I think TCU, I've seen them actually fall from, last year they were getting picked out on top 5 in the SEC. They're not
Yeah.
even close this year from what
Okay.
I've seen.
Who are you talking about?
Mizzou.
Mizzou.
Yeah, TCU opens up
UNC, right?
with UNC at UNC. That's tough.
tough.
Oh, we got Farmageddon, Iowa State, Kansas State.
Yeah,
In Dublin.
Yes.
that'd probably be the toughest.
And this
one.
For both of them.
might
Right.
be
In a
a
neutral field.
non-conference game too, potentially. I don't know for sure.
Yeah. But
Or
we're
actually
definitely
not.
right up there.
No, these two teams have been in this conference for a while. This is going to be a conference game.
Oh, you're right.
They'll both be top 25, I would assume, too.
I would hate to play a conference game in week 1.
Yeah.
In Dublin,
Yeah. Hate that. Like to go to Dublin, though.
Nebraska will have Cincy at Cincy week 1.
Go Bearcats.
You know what? That'll
go
be an
Bearcats
interesting
for
matchup.
sure.
I think since he's kind of being slept on a little bit this year in the Big 12.
Depending on, I guess, how much you like Charles Kelly, they take on UCF at home, Jacksonville State.
I wonder what the spread of that one would be.
But in the end here, Georgia Tech's going to be ranked. Kansas State and Iowa State will probably both be ranked.
I don't think North Carolina will, but
they'll probably be like others receiving votes.
Right.
Auburn goes to Baylor week 1.
Ooh.
Same night as Georgia Tech, Colorado, actually.
Okay. I know which one people will be watching.
Utah, UCLA to open the season as well.
that is very interesting. Nico versus Dampier.
Oh.
Sheesh. Where's that at?
That's in California.
All right, what else we got here?
Box Game says, did we get the pro QB coach? He's not listed. Is that another Byron Leftwich?
Yeah,
comment?
I think so.
Oh.
Don't ask me about coaches. Big Burn says, did Utah have a premier quarterback?
Why
are you looking at me?
These guys sure think so. I think he's going to be an upgrade from what they had last year.
He's exactly what Kyle Whittingham has had. Like Tyler Huntley was like this.
Yeah.
Just running around, making big plays with his legs, can throw it when he has to. Not the best at it, but
Yep.
I think they do. He's going to be one of the most, I think, exciting quarterbacks to watch this season.
when is practice back? We got about a month.
All right.
Kenton asks, what are you guys' thoughts on K-State minus 600 for Big 12 champs? I'm putting money there.
There's no way. It has to be plus 600.
I think so.
Yeah, it's got to be. That's interesting, though. I mean, like I said earlier, I think it's a 4-team race in the conference, and I would include K-State in that, along with Utah, Arizona State, and Colorado.
I'm glad you're not buying the Texas Tech hype.
Yeah, I'm not. I will say this, though, about Texas Tech. I was putting together, like I mentioned, my preseason all Big 12 team. And you remember we were talking about the Madden and like how their defense I'm talking about Madden on college football game 26 is like really good. I understand why.
Wait, Texas Tech?
Yeah.
Been trying to tell you, bro.
Yeah. Their defense should be like really nice.
Yes.
All right.
David Bailey's literally like a top 10 player in the game.
And they got Lee Hunter from UCF last year, who was a dog.
Nice, yeah.
So their D-line's going to be nasty. They returned the leading tackler in the conference at linebacker.
So it sounds like you do buy the Texas Tech hype.
No, I like their defense, though.
All right.
And then they got Thieneman in the secondary, too, at safety. From
I thought he went to Oregon.
Purdue? The Purdue kid?
No, I'm
Dylan?
sorry, not Thieneman. The dude who transferred from North Dakota State.
Who was out against you?
Wisnowski. Yeah.
Okay. Cole Wisnowski.
So they got ballers at all three levels defensively, but
Yep.
I think offensively is kind of where they're going to fall below expectations.
I mean, Baron Morton's their quarterback
Still
again.
Baron Morton, yeah.
Yep.
All righty.
That's about it for today. We'll be out until tomorrow, obviously. We're talking some Georgia Tech.
I'm down.
Sure. Talk to production.
I did already.
Okay.
We're set.
All right.
Are you set?
I'm set.
All right. We'll see you then. Let's go Buffs.
Let's go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.